Hey guys, what is up? And Shadolance back for another review. Today I'm going to be doing the second of the clan weapons, as I promised. I got my TMP review out about a week ago, maybe a little longer than that. But I did realize that I had left my CX4 storm footage at my other house, which I now have access to, so I'm going to be making the review now. I brought my TMP footage home, and I forgot to put my CX4 storm footage on the flash drive that I was carrying it back and forth on, so I am sorry about the delay, but here it finally is. And I want to say this is possibly one of my favorite assault rifles in the entire game, just because of how fun it is to use. It's great for tapping, it is great for spraying, and it's actually, this is kind of a strange thing to say, it is heavily dependent on what kind of scope you put on. It seems like having an ACOG scope on this actually makes tapping 10 times easier than it would for any other gun, although obviously an ACOG scope makes tapping easier for most guns anyway, but it's even more true for this gun, and the vice versa with the iTech scope. So I start off doing relatively well, and then I start doing not so good, and then I start doing well again near the end. So the gameplay is really not the best in the world, and it does not describe how good this gun can be. It has a very low damage drop-off, so it's a very consistent 3 to 4 shot kill, occasionally 5-shot kill in a heavy vester, depending on where you hit them, whether it's the arm or the leg, at longer ranges. You'll see me using the tri-shot holosight, which is the NX equivalent of the ACOG scope, so you'll be able to see that. I don't have any footage with my reflex scope, although I can tell you that it has a very low recoil, and although the gun is quite expensive, I do believe it's 1,000 GP per day, it is more than worth it. Although if I had to put a price on it and compare it to what else is worth it, the TMP is more worth the money than this is. So if you really had to choose between this gun and the TMP is still a little more worth it. Though, to be honest, this gun is unlocked at a much lower clan level than the TMP. Neither of these weapons has a rank requirement on it. However, they do have the clan level requirement. And the TMP, I do believe, is at level 3 or 4. The CX4 Storm is at level 1. So there's quite a bit of a variance there. Now, let's go over the stats. Damage of 38 is actually a bit on the low side. You usually want to see at least 40. The portability is 62, so good, it's very portable, to be honest. Rate of fire 75 is very high. The rate of fire is quite high. You usually don't see anything above 74, and 75 is obviously a touch up from that. The accuracy of 86 is very nice, and the spread recovery is decent on this weapon. It's quite good. The overall spread is pretty small, so it's sprayable. It's similar to the M416 and M4A1 series, the recoil pattern at any rate. It feels like the M4A1 to me. I'm not sure if that's actually what it is like, but it certainly feels like that to me. The reload is relatively fast, but it's not exactly lightning. It's quite fast, though. I wouldn't say it's as fast as the L85 series, although I hate the guns. The reload is actually quite fast on those weapons, if not the fastest for the assault rifles in the game, excluding Epics and NX Rares. So it's not quite that fast, but it does have some speed to it. The recoil of 62 is quite low, especially given the fact that the pattern is also quite low. Usually if it's above about a 65, you want to be a little more cautious about spraying. 62 is fine, though, especially with a very low damage drop-off. That was an awesome one-click headshot right there, if I do say so myself, and I feel proud about that. I feel like I can sleep tonight. It does have the 30 of 90 clip capacity and ammo capacity, as you might want to call it. Although the wiki, there's a couple of things wrong with the wiki, and actually I just realized that the CX4 Storm is a level 2 weapon. I thought it was a level 1, but obviously Shadow Arms, or Tears of Fear, hasn't been that level for quite a while, so I just assumed it was level 1. But apparently it's level 2, and I guess I'll just take the word for that. But going back over the actual weapon, I do believe there is a type of weapon for every rank. There's the assault rifle, there's the SMG, and there isn't a machine gun that you can also get. I forget exactly what it's called. Sorry about that. There is also a melee weapon. I do believe it's some kind of machete or shovel or something. I forget. I don't ever use melee weapons really unless I have to, and I have my tracker knife for that. So there's also some melee weapon you can unlock. I believe it's level 4 or something like that. Anyway, you can equip sights, suppressor, and a magazine to this. If I have to make a suggestion, you don't really need the extended magazine. The damage bleed through on this weapon is actually quite high, so getting accolades is quite easy with only the 30 shots given, and the accuracy is high enough that you shouldn't be missing that many shots anyway. Sights, if you'd rather spray than use an iTech, or if you'd rather tap than use an ACOG, it's as simple as that. Suppressor, it's up to you whether you want to put an S1 on it or not. I wouldn't say you really need an S3 for this. It's not even really that loud of a gun, to be honest. It's similar to the newly released G11. It's not very loud, so it just seems fine on its own. It's just really a cool gun to use, and just a little bit of backstory about me with this weapon. The reason I particularly love this weapon is because I first started using it on Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. I do believe it was called. I use this weapon quite a bit. It's one of my favorites in that series. Ghost Recon is well known for having a ton of weapons, a huge arsenal for the Xbox style of game that it is. And I do believe it has more than most of the Call of Duty series, at least the recent Call of Duties. Certainly more than the old style Call of Duties, but it doesn't have as many as combat arms, let's be honest here. But it does have quite an arsenal, and this is one of my favorite weapons from that game. I don't know too many other games that this weapon is featured in. I have a feeling that it's probably featured in the newly released, well, not really new anymore, but the newest Medal of Honor game. I seem to remember seeing it in there. And there's also a CX4 looking gun, I forget what it's called, in Halo 4 and Halo ODST. I do forget what they're called. Now, obviously, you guys don't care about those games, so I'm going to stop blabbering about those now. Although I do want to say Ghost Recon Future Soldier is most definitely worth getting, and I highly suggest anyone get that game. Whew. Okay, and Ghost Recon Online sucks in my opinion. I'm kidding. No, that's a great game. Ghost Recon Online is fun. Don't take my word for that. It's a great game. This gun is only fully automatic in this game. In fact, I do believe it's fully automatic in every game I've ever played. I don't remember ever seeing a burst mode or a single fire on this weapon. I don't even know if this is a real gun in real life. I just know it's really cool. I like it a lot. I do know that it is at least said to be made by Beretta, and if you look at the style, the interior of the weapon, it is a Beretta style build. So if it is a real gun, it's most definitely made by Beretta. I know that. Even the wiki agrees with me on that, so I just checked that. Even the wiki agrees with me. It is most definitely a Beretta weapon. It just follows their kind of idea. Overall, though, I do want to say the weapon is quite small. I do think I forgot to mention that before. The weapon is quite small, so you won't be found so easily through walls and such, which is incredibly annoying for Kill Creek players like me, especially those who abuse the train like I do. I abuse the crap out of that train, and I enjoy it. And this is where I start failing a bit near the end here, so please forgive me for that. So, going back over what I suggest for customization, suppressor's up to you. Sights, pick the one you like more, but definitely need sights on this weapon. The spread is a little on the touch side high, but it's not unbearable. You can still spray it outside of scope with no problem. Although tap firing outside of scope might be a little bit difficult with this weapon. And the magazine, you really don't need it, but if you're really looking to get some unbelievables without reloading, then yeah, go ahead and get the extended magazine too. That's just up to you. I mean, I personally have never needed to put an extended magazine on this weapon. Spread recovery is fine, reload is good, just in general it's a great weapon. It's better than the M416 CQB in my personal opinion, but that's about all the time I have for today, guys. Thank you for watching, thank you for being patient enough to wait for this review. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I am sure I will see you in the next video. Keyword on the subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Shadolance out.